Welcome to CBR. The Disney Plus series Daredevil Born Again has made some interesting changes to the story of the White Tiger. Today you will know exactly how because we are deep diving into Hector Ayala in both comics and TV. Watch out, spoilers for Daredevil Born Again, episodes 1 to 3 ahead. If you're behind, save this video for later and run to Disney Plus to catch up. Daredevil Born Again continues with episode 3 titled The Hollow of His Hand, bringing shocking plot twists to the story of the White Tiger. The late actor Camar de los Reyes portrayed Hector Ayala on the show, appearing in the first 3 episodes out of 9. As we know now, episode 3 marks his final appearance. The origins of both Hector himself and his powers in Daredevil Born Again are similar to the comics. He is a Puerto Rican man who moved to New York and found the Amulet of Power, which grants him superhuman abilities whenever he wears it. He became the vigilante known as the White Tiger, but everything changed when he was wrongfully accused of killing a police officer. As Hector, he stopped a fight at the subway, and one of the men involved was hit by a train. The amulet in the show, although similar to the source of the White Tiger's power in the comics, is not as powerful as the original. While there are no in-depth explanations directly given by any characters, the fact that Hector was killed the way he was proves he has no superhuman senses. We will get into his set of powers in the comics in the next part of this video, but first, let's establish what exactly they are in the show. Like in the comics, Hector only has superpowers when he wears the Amulet of Power. It's not clear in the show how much time exactly has passed between the moment Hector first becomes the White Tiger and present day, but the testimonials in court and the police paperwork documenting his actions prove that enough time passed for him to help a lot of people around the city. When he stopped the police officers from harassing a man at the subway station and one of them fell to the tracks, he was not wearing his amulet, which was a key point Matt used in his defense. In the final scene of episode 3, against Matt Murdock's advice, Hector immediately puts on the amulet and resumes his vigilante work as the White Tiger as soon as he is found not guilty in court. He hears what seems to be a woman in danger, and that is a tricky scene at first. It looks like he may have super hearing and other super senses like in the comics, but that has to be just Hector's regular hearing, because soon after he is caught by surprise. The way Hector dies means that the White Tiger amulet only gives Hector super strength, durability, and other abilities from the comics, but as we've said, not superhuman senses. On top of the powers the amulet provides, Hector also has the advantage of having served many years in the military, being extensively trained in combat. Unfortunately, that is insufficient to save him from this attack. Someone who is either the Punisher or who is posing as the Punisher shoots the White Tiger in the head, killing him instantly. After Hector is shot and falls to the ground, we see this mysterious figure walking towards the camera. We can't see their face, but the Punisher skull can be seen across the person's shirt. This moment highlights a hero's vulnerability despite the superpowers, seeing that even they can be harmed by firearms and other conventional weapons. It also hints at a larger conspiracy, as Hector's murder could be part of a bigger plot involving street-level crime and corruption in the MCU. Wilson Fisk, now mayor of New York City, could be behind the murder of the White Tiger. The corrupt police officer who accused Hector of killing his partner could also be involved. This difference drastically changes Hector's fate in the MCU. In the comics, his death is a tragic accident fueled by desperation, which we will explain later in the video. But in the show, he is assassinated in cold blood, implying a bigger scheme to eliminate him and potentially other vigilantes as well. With the shocking plot twist of his death, fans are wondering if there will be another character who will take on the White Tiger mantle after Hector now. Let's take a look at the White Tiger story in Marvel Comics, starting with Hector Ayala and then other characters. White Tiger was the first Latino superhero in Marvel Comics, created by writers Bill Mantlo and Yvette Perez and penciler George Perez. Hector Ayala first appeared in the story and ending in the 1975 issue Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 19. Features the hero Iron Fist in the first story and introduces White Tiger in the second, who has his origin story told right away. He was born and raised in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and came to New York City at a young age, later attending college at Empire State University. At the university is where he found the Tiger amulets, a set of 3 amulets that turned him into the White Tiger. The 3 amulets he found belonged to the Sons of the Tiger, a trio of martial arts students and heroes. They each used one of the 3 jade amulets to enhance their martial arts skills, but abandoned the amulets in an alley by the school when the group disbanded. When Hector found the amulets, he put them on and instantly felt weird. He suddenly transformed into the White Tiger, wearing full costume and mysteriously having the knowledge of this new identity. During his first adventures as the White Tiger, he had to deal with corrupt police officers too, a theme that is repeated in Daredevil Born Again. In this first story, he interrupts a criminal gang prepared to kill a police officer in a dark corner of New York's train tracks. He successfully defeats all the bad guys, but they had bullied a child into shooting at the police officer. The child was so scared of this gang that he shot the White Tiger, believing his family would be harassed if he didn't. The bullet hit White Tiger in his left arm. Suddenly, the police officer who was going to be executed got up and hit the boy in the head hard, killing him at the spot in one blow. The White Tiger became furious as there was no need to kill the boy who was just scared. Ambiguous run-ins with incompetent law enforcement officers and pitiful criminals like these are a recurring theme for Hector Ayala in Marvel Comics, reinforcing the struggles of marginalized heroes dealing with systemic injustices. Hector's arc reflects real-world issues regarding racial profiling and other limitations of the criminal justice system in New York. Seeing how he barely felt that bullet when the boy shot him and quickly got back on his feet, it's clear the White Tiger has some incredible endurance. The White Tiger amulets are mystical artifacts from the highlands of Kunlun that turn their users into avatars of the Tiger God. This is very similar to how Khonshu, an Egyptian god of the moon, grants Mark Spector the power to become Moon Knight. The tiger spirit was linked to Hector through the amulets, increasing his abilities under normal conditions, but especially when he was in direct contact with the amulets. In Marvel Comics, the amulets made of jade are originally split into 3 distinct parts, with one tiger's headpiece and 2 paws. Not only Hector's powers increase dramatically when wearing the amulet, but he can also use the amulet on specific body parts to enhance them in particular. For example, if he has a wound on his arm, he can use the amulet in that arm to boost his healing power and get that wound to heal faster. While Hector's healing factor is nowhere near characters like Wolverine or Deadpool, it's still important to note that he can heal broken bones, torn muscles, gunshots, and knife wounds within seconds. Beyond healing, his body itself can endure incredible pressure and direct attacks. His physical strength, speed, and stamina is highly superior to any human, making it nearly impossible for him to become tired or slow. And as a nod to the predator instincts of a white tiger, the hero has enhanced senses. He can see details in full clarity at great distances, and he has ultraviolet and infrared vision, which allow him to see in the dark. He can hear sounds that are beyond the human ability and identify sources of sounds at incredible distances. He can also track a target by scent, finding their exact location. But just like in Daredevil Born Again, Hector also dies being shot in Daredevil comics. In fact, his MCU story arc is a loose adaptation of the Trial of the Century arc, which started in Daredevil Volume 2, number 38, and ended in number 40 in 2003. Hector had retired from crime fighting and was living a normal life. However, he was falsely accused of murder and arrested. The real criminals framed him, but he lacked the resources to prove his innocence. Matt Murdock was his defense attorney, but despite Matt's talent and effort, Hector was found guilty. The stress and frustration of being wrongly convicted weighed heavily on him. This is the point in which the original story from the comics and the TV adaptation become completely different from one another. In the show, Hector is found not guilty, but back to the comics, Hector tried to escape from custody after the trial. In his desperation, he attempted to disarm a police officer, but the situation escalated. During the struggle, the police shot and killed Hector. He died on the spot, unable to clear his name. His death was a result of a wrongful conviction and a failed attempt to prove his innocence. Although it is similar to his death scene in Daredevil Born Again in terms of him also being shot, the fact that he was shot during a physical struggle aligns more with the fact that he had superhuman senses in comics. This is a notable change in Daredevil Born Again. While in the comics, Hector's amulets grants him enhanced perception, including heightened vision and hearing, only the lack of these abilities in the show would explain him being so vulnerable to an ambush. Instead of a surprise in the middle of the night, while distracted trying to save a victim, Hector's death in the Trial of the Century arc is a consequence of the chaos that ensues at the court after he resists arrest and tries to flee. After he died in the comics, Matt blamed himself for failing to save Hector. Still, not all was lost. Hector's niece, Angela, inherited the amulets and became the new White Tiger. Hector Ayala's niece, Angela del Toro, was the second but not last person to don the White Tiger amulets and mantle in White Tiger number 1, 2006. Angela had been a police officer with the NYPD for 4 years, gained a bachelor's degree in political science and a master's degree in criminology. She then graduated in the top of her class at Quantico and went on to work for the FBI. She was very close to her uncle Hector and accompanied the court case, being devastated when he died. After her uncle's death, Hector's tiger amulets were delivered to Angela, leading her to assume she was meant to be the next White Tiger. She initially struggled to balance her job with her new superhero identity, but had Daredevil as a mentor. However, when he was also arrested like her uncle, she decided to abandon the FBI and focus solely on being a hero. However, she met her demise when she fought the Hand in Daredevil number 512, 2010. They killed her and resurrected her as a corrupted warrior, brainwashing her into serving their cause. The Hand put her up against Daredevil and Iron Fist, tainting her reputation. She was eventually freed from the Hand's influence, but was left mentally scarred forever. After this dark moment, she seemingly disappeared from superhero life. Hector's youngest sister and Angela's aunt, Ava Ayala, adopted the role of White Tiger after Angela in Avengers Academy number 20, 2011. Unlike Hector and Angela, Ava's powers weren't just from the amulets, they came directly from the Tiger God and were stronger. She redefined what it meant to be White Tiger, now wielding greater mystical power than any of her predecessors. Ava joined the Avengers Academy and later became a member of the Mighty Avengers and the New Avengers. With Daredevil Born Again adapting the Trial of the Century arc from Daredevil comics in the first 3 episodes, it is not only possible, but likely that someone else will become the White Tiger by the end of the season. In episode 3, Hector says he moved from Puerto Rico to New York City with his wife and that they were living with his sister and niece. This leaves both Angela and Ava as potential replacements for him. We think it is more likely that Ava Ayala will be the next and main White Tiger in the MCU. However, we think the MCU will interchange Ava and Angela's family roles, making Ava Hector's teenage niece instead of younger sister. Ava is not only the main hero to use this alias in the comics, but also the only one to become an Avenger. Whether Marvel Studios has ambitious plans for the White Tiger or not, making Ava the new character to use the amulet opens a world of possibilities for the franchise. By mentioning the Ayala family in Daredevil Born Again Episode 3, the MCU already set the stage for the passing of the mantle. The show could reveal that Ava was deeply affected by her uncle's trial and untimely death, giving her a strong motivation to carry on his legacy. Matt Murdock is definitely going to investigate his murder, and he may be the one to find the White Tiger amulet and give it to Ava. A key difference between Ava and previous White Tigers is that her powers don't come solely from the amulet. She is a direct avatar of the Tiger God. The MCU could explore this by having Ava inherit the amulet from Hector, but experience powers even without wearing it, just by being next to it. When she finally tries it on, she could begin experiencing visions or hearing the voice of the Tiger God, similar to how Mark Spector can talk to Khonshu. She could even discover that the amulet magically found her uncle when it was on its way to its true owner, Ava. Seeing she has no choice but to embrace her fate as the White Tiger, she could turn to Daredevil for help in training. With the MCU currently setting up new superhero teams, from the Thunderbolts to the Young Avengers and a rumored Midnight Suns iteration, Ava has the comic book background to justify her joining one of them. We think it would be really fun to see a teenage White Tiger as a member of the Young Avengers, alongside Kamala Khan, Kate Bishop, and others, especially since Ava has worked with the team in the comics before, and she even served on the New Avengers with Hulkling and Wiccan, starting in New Avengers number 1, 2015. A recent report from Production Bulletin stated that Disney Plus and Marvel Television are planning to begin producing a Young Avengers TV series in January 2026. Therefore, Ava Ayala could definitely fit into the plans for the Young Avengers series in the future, especially if she is introduced in Daredevil Born Again. Her presence could also help tie together the more street-level Young Avengers, like Kate Bishop's Hawkeye, to the more mystical characters like Wiccan, bridging the gap since she would have roots in both worlds. This most likely means all team members will be introduced in other movies and shows before 2026. While we eagerly wait to see how Daredevil Born Again unfolds, Let's discuss the White Tiger in the show and in the future. Did you like how the show told Hector Ayala's story? Do you expect someone else to become the new White Tiger? Let us know in the comments. Also, remember to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, thanks for watching CBR.